I'm not really used to YouTube recommending me new things that I'm actually interested in, but I'll be completely honest, this is something that I could absolutely get used to. I'll spare you the entire trailer because we're going to play through the demo anyway, but this is a developer, solo developer, working on a game called Vampire Syndicate. And at the end of his trailer, he has a little bit of his like design philosophy that I kind of want to just touch on really quick before we jump into whatever this game is.
Hi, my name is Manly Mouse Dan. I'm the sole developer of this game, and the rest of this video is me trying to convince you why I'm not a scumbag scammer who just threw some pretty pictures together. I have been developing and releasing games for almost 15 years now, but you probably have never heard of me. I'm coming up on 5 completed Kickstarters and 4 delivered games.
Now, I'll be the first to admit that it's true. I've never heard of this person before. I think I am familiar with the type of games that he makes, which is part of probably why a lot of other people haven't heard of him because they are hentai games or pornographic games. Um, but yeah, just because I haven't heard of him before doesn't mean that he can't come out with something that's really good.
I keep my promises, and I like to think I have a reputation for being honest. My most successful game was a 30-hour non-linear RPG with lots of characters and factions and things to do. People seem to
I'm
like it.
gonna have to look into this game for sure.
I'm not a typical game dev. I've never been involved in the wider games industry, and I am more or less a complete outsider. I'm a writer by trade, and you will see this
Okay.
reflected in my design philosophy. My greatest inspirations for Vampire Syndicate are Fallout New Vegas and Planescape Torment.
Big
This is a
names,
huge
big
gamble.
names. As a fan of Fallout New Vegas, I tried to get into Tormentum, but I just never found the opportunity. I wasn't really sure how to get into the series. But yeah,
The biggest of my life. Solo dev is insanely hard, but it's what I love. I wanted to be free, with no corporate strings or secondhand ideologies. The price of that freedom is difficulty. I am the smallest of underdogs, challenging an entire industry. And
I
if I'm
obviously
being completely honest, this is not a game that the industry will make. There are large parts of this industry that do not respect its customer base.
absolutely.
And if these 15 years have bought me the freedom to be honest, then I can be happy enough. But I want to make something of profound beauty. Something only I can make, but not alone. I need your help. Wishlist my game, subscribe to this channel, follow my Kickstarter. Thanks for watching.
So yeah, a lot of his games are basically what I imagine would be more of the adult kind, not the sort of thing that people like IGN or Kotaku would really report on frequently, if at all. But the visuals that are shown in this trailer are very, very impressive for a solo dev. Now, I'm not sure if these are asset flips. I haven't been really keeping up with that whole debacle of developers who would just buy things off of an asset store, stitch them together, and then sell them to people. But even if they are just pre made assets, I have to admit the way that he's combined them really do scream style. Now, again, I don't know for sure how he's done this or what he's used to do it, but I'm just saying that it's impressive. I'm impressed. But just because I agree with his design philosophy doesn't necessarily mean that the game itself will be very good. You know, the game industry is loaded with people who mean well but lack the talent or the know-how to pull off some of their ideas, which is why they turn to some of these bigger companies who then stick their foot in everything and make a total mess. But before I can make that judgment with this game, we're going to have to try it out. And I mean, the demo is available on Steam, so enough talk. Let's jump into it and see what this guy's been cooking. All right. So the combat isn't terrible. There's not a whole lot going on with it, and it kind of feels a little too RNG dependent. I know that it said that this is an outdated version of the game, but I think having some sort of counter system, even if it does like reduce damage, so it doesn't feel as though you have to kill the enemy in a single turn or else you're gonna get your shit rocked. I don't like that feeling of it. Um, I think that having accuracy in a game like this is like a double-edged sword because there's always going to be those situations where it's like, you said I had a 90% chance to hit and I missed 3 times in a row. Like, I'm no mathematician, but come on. Um, Definitely work on that combat. Already played it. Very early alpha demo, so expect placeholder bugs. Okay, so we already um, saw that. Now, I'm not sure where I should be on the screen for this, but so far the text has only shown up on that side of the screen. So let me move over here.
The AI economic crisis.
Oh, there's voice acting.
Shortly before the outbreak of the Zimalayan Civil War, global markets saw a somewhat unexpected emergency as a consequence of AI technologies and their impact on the economy.
AI is bad, okay.
Millions around the world were left unemployed, leading to dramatic spikes in crime and public disorder. Meanwhile, corporations reaped record profits with the help of sophisticated AI proxies. These multinationals have claimed the regulation-lax city-state of Moonfall as their home, making it rich beyond imagination. But all is not well. Moonfall is a place of anarchy and chaos, where street gangs rule the slums and have turned the city into a battlefield. Last year, a daughter of the old Pirate King dynasty reclaimed the throne, and the city is occupied by the armies of a powerful neighbor.
What?
Yet, the true rulers of the city lurk in the shadows. Ancient and untouchable, the vampire syndicates make their latest attempts at peace, to prevent the arrival of the Black Blood Moon and the eldritch horror that it will unleash.
Um, so, problem. That whole thing seemed to have way more of a focus on there being AIs and that being a problem than the fact that this world has vampires in it. You've got vampire in the name of your game. I think you should probably, establish that side of things first before you get into this whole sci-fi dystopia with AI and syndicates and stuff, because that was confusing. And is the daughter of this pirate king? What is this? One Piece? One thing at a time. Is everybody a vampire? Like, what's the situation with that? Because that got glossed over a little bit too hard. Um, let's see your character creator. Customization options coming soon. These buttons don't do anything. We go back. Anime portraits? Why is that off? Okay, fine. Just go middle of the road. Um, Lineage. So all that's been picked for us. Sure. $2,000 credits.
You are a familiar of the dragon-blooded, an ancient lineage that can trace its origins all the way back before the fall of Gushan. But it will be here, in Moonfall, where the future of the lineage is decided. You now answer to Min, a gifted shaper of the Woodajin school, and young for a vampire. There is work to be done tonight, and if done well, you may find yourself on the fast track to being among the immortals yourself.
So I'm not a vampire? Oh, that's why anime portraits are off. The mouse and directional shoot. Options. Wait. Keyboard config. Let me relaunch the game and change some of that really quick. Alright, relaunch the game. Rebuilt character this time. Okay. So if you don't have anime portraits on, it does like this 3D CG thing. I think that fits the tone of the game much better. No offense to whoever the artist is in charge of the anime portraits. Still will have limited functionality. I was thinking that the game would be kind of like first person-ish when you're exploring around based off of the trailer, but that might be because of the build. Left it on, screens are filled with code, can't read.
At your approach, Frankie flicked his old tobacco on the ground and crushed the lit end under his boots. He offered you a disarming smile, and you knew from experience that you were about to get a poke in the ribs.
It's a killer for hire now? Now, well, I suppose you're a killer on retainer now. Before your ego gets too inflated, you still look like a piss stain, if you wanted my opinion. Opinion on what? Elevation to familiar. Sounds about right.
As you approach the woman, you notice that the shadows around her aren't right. They shrunk at your approach.
Marking more memories than usual if you're curious why I'm mumbling. Going to need everything I've got for the upcoming fight.
Kaywin gave you her typical smile as you approached. Sweet and innocent, she made for a poor criminal, but a great gearhead. The best mechanic you've ever seen. You feel a good deal safer with her around. Moonfall's not a place for your ride to break down. Apparently, she and Hatsuo used to work for the now famous St. Gorfu facilitator.
There's a whole lot of names being thrown around that just don't mean anything. That sort of thing can be very frustrating when you're telling a story.
Cocksure and flamboyant in his own way, Hatsuo was the muscle in your crew, and he wasn't afraid to show it off either. He was relatively new, and came as a package with your driver and mechanic, Kaywin. Hatsuo clearly knew his way around the city and its underworld. The word was that he was part of the facilitator's crew that made all the waves last year.
I figured when they made you a familiar that we'd get cushier jobs, not deadlier ones. So punching a vampire's ticket, I heard they pulled 5 crews for this. And for the new bloods, even if they're not allowed to interfere. We'll be fine. Okay. So...
Frankie's been with you the longest, your right-hand man. He used to run an unaffiliated street gang over in the docks, until he got into trouble with some iron cartel. Proxy was tweaking with her organs.
Oh, okay.
You could see her playing with her faceplate. She might not look it, but this fey-shaped woman was more machine than flesh. Proxy shifted as you approached. Her movements always struck you as odd in their mathematical preciseness.
I don't know about everyone else looking forward to this job. So this is the team.
Min is your direct superior in the hierarchy of the lineage. You owe her your fealty. She is largely considered one of the most gifted shapers in Moonfall. During the short conflict against the Imperial Expeditionary Force, she earned the epithet the Cannonade, due to mainland troops mistaking her for an artillery battery.
Phoenix. So many different terms. So it's not a weapon that we can equip or something.
You recognize the goons in the straight. You recognize the woman as Dr. Nomad Langley.
Not 100% sure what's going on, but when you reach this point where you're just like, can we get on with it?
Faustine earned her reputation as a werewolf killer. something that has also gained her the undying enmity of the Lupercal. Those who know her say it is not a subject she likes to dwell on. Little is known of lore. Yeshian is not well liked.
Something about this is very uncanny. Um, exactly am I looking for here? Because I was skipping through the dialogue, I didn't catch what was actually happening.
The Abyssal Carnivex is as fascinating.
Okay.
The fungal horror is a terrifying creature.
So right now it seems to be some sort of like dungeon crawler-esque thing going on, based off the trivia of these hollow whatchamacallits. No actual combat though. The repetition of these rooms is not very appealing.
This tentacled mass, which has been informally dubbed an abyssal spawn, is a fascinating...
Be fed to the tentacle monster. Okay, so we got dropped into combat. We just put everyone on. I'm kind of weak based off of the tutorial. Okay. So I'm primarily playing this with my mouse. Nice crit. Shadow strike on this thing. Pretty tough, actually. Alright, Frankie's down, never got a chance to move. So yeah, the combat is serviceable. It's just... It does need work, though. It needs a lot of polish. Let's see, we got some items. Like, I could put up with the combat if there was, you know, a better context as to what was going on, a more digestible context. They gotta ease me into all of this, like, mumbo jumbo about factions and lineage and that other stuff. But I think I'm gonna go ahead and call it. I think I played all that I need to. There's obviously a feature of this game that I can't test here on YouTube, but I'll check it out on, you know, the other places where you can find me. Again, there will be a link to this guy's trailer down in the description that you can check out and you can decide for yourself. What do you think of what I showed off so far? I'll admit that there's a lot here that's rough, but at the same time, there's a certain level of charm that I think could blossom into something. Typically speaking, I don't play a lot of these tactical RPGs that aren't Disgaea or something along those lines. So it would be refreshing to have a good one to play, but I'd love to hear your thoughts down below. Let me know and let the developer know on his trailer page. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in another video.